Hello, I'm Jim Yutzrenka, or first name James. Graduated from Argyle High School in '66. Drafted in March of '68. Went to basic training at Fort Lewis, Washington.
When you went to basic training, did you know anybody?
No, there was guys from Lancaster and Langdon, or not Langdon, but Hellock. I didn't know them personally though.
So there's some people from the area.
Yeah. And then from there, I went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma for a year.
Did you go to Fargo then?
Yes, rode the train.
Rode the train.
Yeah. And then we went to Fort Sill, learned how to run 105s and 155 howitzers. And what happened there is one day the first sergeant was looking for a morning clerk and I could type. So I raised my hand and I got that job. So that's where I wound up doing in Oklahoma for a year, Fort Sill.
Now you started out in Fort Ord?
No, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Fort Sill, Oklahoma. And then you went, that's where your basic training was?
Oh, no, AIT.
Yeah, where'd you go to basic?
Fort Lewis, oh, maybe we didn't. We better start over.
No, go ahead. Keep on.
Because I went to Fort Lewis for basic, yeah.
Fort Lewis
And
for
then
basic.
to Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Right.
And learned how to run howitzers, 105s and 155. But then I raised my hand because the first sergeant was looking for a morning clerk. And guess what? I got the job. And while I did that, I was in Fort Sill for just about a year before I got sent overseas. But while I was in Fort Sill, I was a morning clerk, supply clerk, and a mailroom guy.
So you had several jobs.
Yeah.
They just kept moving you around.
Yeah. So we did that, and then from there I got drafted or not drafted, but called up to Vietnam. And
You got orders for Vietnam?
yeah, I went there and
And you flew out of where for Vietnam? Did you fly or boat?
flew out of Fort Lewis, Washington. And we landed in Honolulu to refuel, flew into Cameron Bay, and we got duty doing burning you know what.
Oh, yep.
Good old Minnesota boy. And then from Cameron Bay, I went to Phu Bai, and I was stationed with the 630th Engineers, and somehow I turned into a mechanic. And basically what I did there
So
is,
mechanic, did you have any training with that at all?
no, they just assigned me to that. I don't know why, but they did.
So you started as artillery,
Yeah. Morning
became
clerk,
a clerk, and somehow you ended
supply
up
clerk.
with,
Well, I was a jack of all trades, see.
yeah.
And then from there, I drove or convoy trucks out I stationed at Phu Bai, Camp Eagle. Camp Eagle was where we were, and then Phu Bai was the city that was next to it. And I just did supply runs, hauled beer, food, whatever, out to the base camps at A Shaw Valley, you know.
And in those convoys, there were quite a few trucks in a convoy,
Oh
right?
yeah, there's many times I got turned around because they were waiting to ambush us.
Yep. And you, in the convoys, they usually had support like quad 50s or something like
Well, you
that?
had shotguns riding with you all the time, and then we hauled out new troops that would come in all the time, you know. And,
So there's always a driver and somebody riding
yeah,
shotgun,
you
right?
had shotgun. And then we hauled supplies from Camp Eagle, go to Da Nang and pick up supplies that came in on the, South China Sea is what was there. And that's where you picked up stuff and hauled back, because we were in the engineer group that built bridges and roads besides convoys and all that. And then I came home for a medical emergency about 4 months later, after being there for 4 months.
So you flew home,
Yep,
flew into
Guam,
Guam.
and then from Guam to Washington, state of Washington, Fort Lewis, and then from there came home. I was home for Well, it was a medical thing, and then it was like 2, 3
Your
weeks.
dad had,
Yeah, my dad had a heart attack. He was in a coma for 2 weeks.
and you were the only son.
Yeah, and I helped with the farm, got that all done. Then I went back to the state of Washington, Fort Lewis, and I spent 2 months there delivering food to mess hall, and I got to eat a lot of shrimp. I got all the good stuff because the guy that I was with was a retired. He never would tell me his echelon, how high he was, but he knew what was going on in Fort Lewis because I was trying to get a hardship discharge at that time. And Dick Fitzsimons is our rep here in Argyle, or for our county or whatever he was, helped me get out, and then I came home 2 months later.
What was your rank when you,
Oh, yeah, Spec 4, specialist, E4.
4? Yeah,
Yeah.
and how long did you serve, I mean, before you got the hardship? How long were you in?
Or in Vietnam,
How long were you in total?
year and a half.
And you were 4 months in Vietnam?
Yeah.
Yeah. And after, did you farm for a while then?
Well, I went and worked for the Argyle Co-op elevator for 5 years, and then I started farming for 10 years, and then I got to be a rural carrier, and I retired after 33 years.
Yeah, and I noticed when I ever called your phone, the answering machine is, "You got the mailman."
You got it.
That's the mailman.
I've still got that. They still call me that in coffee, the mailman.
So, is there anything that, while you were in Vietnam, that you wish you could have done different?
No.
Everything worked out for you?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't into heavy stuff, so we had it pretty good. Marines cooked for us. And the 101st Airborne, well, Jim Helberg was there when I was there, but I never knew that when I was there.
Yeah.
And then Lynn was killed, well, classmate, in that time too, when I was there.
Right. And what years were you in Vietnam?
69.
69, yeah. Yeah, and my brother Mick was probably there
Yep, well,
about the same time.
classmates too.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay. So, anything else you want to add, Jim?
No, I just did my duty, what I had to do, got drafted and went. That was it. My dad was a World War II vet, so it kind of carried on. Yeah. He was wounded in the war too, World War II. So
Well, yeah, so it's,
we're doing okay. I've had no after effects from being in Vietnam. I mean, I had it good.
did good. Thank you for your service, Jim.
You bet.
Thank you for
Keith.
this interview.
Yes.